All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Hashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostle and others, great millstone and rule one. Shalom to the brothers doing the work, Syrian truth. Just a quick one. Wanted to go over this article in US News. It says National Guard at Capitol authorized to use lethal force in aftermath of mob. The dramatic escalation in authorities granted to the 20,000 guard troops stationed in DC is only the latest response to last week's massive security failure. So it says the 20,000 National Guard troops preparing for pro-Trump demonstrations this weekend in the nation's capital will be armed and permitted to use lethal force. The headquarters overseeing them says, marking a striking escalation in the ways authorities there are preparing for repeat violence after last week's deadly mob. Yeah, so that, it's the fangs are coming out on full display, man. These elites are basically letting the the goyim know y'all are just cattle, man. Y'all can be mowed down, and that's something. This what you've had over the course of like 2020, 2021, just the normalization of a lot of things, man. Violent conflicts between security forces like the police, the army, whatever, and protesters, civilians, whatever. That's been the normal throughout all 2020, and now you've got it ratcheting up a notch, and everyone's gonna be cheering. Let these guys get lenged up. Everyone's gonna be cheering. Why? Because it's like the whole Capitol breach you had, which seems suspect as hell. That whole Capitol breach basically has put the public's like, oh my god, I can't. They're shocked. They're thinking, shit, someone can just run up in like what's meant to be one of the most secure buildings in the country, and jack the shit up. So everyone's gonna be cheering. Everyone's gonna be in America, like the general public, the sheeple are just gonna be cheering and glorying in seeing these guys get destroyed. Especially because they've been trained to hate Trump. Those that are against them have been trained to hate Trump for like the last 4 years. So they're gonna cheer it. They don't realize that that conflict, that basically being under the thumb of the military, the military might of the elites. That's gonna become the normal, man. That's gonna be very normalized. That's gonna be very accepted. People are gonna eat it. And they're gonna say, oh, no, it's necessary. That's how Esau's gonna get you out here, man. Because Esau's not gonna have mercy, man. Esau's not gonna come peaceably. He's gonna be come with force, man. Because that's what was Esau's blessing, man. Go back to Genesis. It was a sword, which in this modern day is that gun, that the rifle, langing men up. It says on January 12th, 2021, National Guardsmen were given authorization to be armed in support of the U.S. Capitol Police to protect the U.S. Capitol and individual members of Congress and their staff, according to a statement from the D.C. National Guard, which is commanding guard forces in the city, including units deployed from 6 other states to provide security for President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration next week. And as well, you're going to have National Guard all over other parts of the country as well. So I'm guessing, likely it's the same MO, man, same modus operandi that's been given onto all of them. You can lang on civilians can get langed down, protesters. Well, that's why that term domestic terrorism been put out there. That's been pushed heavy in the media. Everyone's eating it up, man. Everyone's like, yo, that domestic terrorism. They're just like, yeah, stop it. They're fighting to be like, yeah, these guys are terrorists as well. But that's how you go back to the what the fuck is it called? The Patriot Act. It basically allowed anyone on US soil to be named a terrorist, and now this is being utilized, and everyone's gonna cheer it. But hey, that same force is gonna be used. That's gonna become you're gonna get very accustomed to it, man. So it says a defense official confirmed authorization includes permission for guard troops to use lethal force. The request came from federal authorities and was approved by Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, who oversees DC's guard deployment since the district is not a state. indicating it was not a request from a local government. The Guard forces there to date have performed an unarmed support role, such as directing traffic and logistical support to free up more civilian law enforcement officers to help protect the capital and other sensitive sites in DC. This will change with neutralization. So, damn. Says his guardsmen are trained in the use of lethal and less than lethal force, de-escalation techniques, as well as the use of protective equipment. This is standard for civilian disturbance response missions, according to the statement. The National Guard is proud to support the Secret Service, U.S. Capitol Police, and Park Police, who are leading the security efforts during the events for the 59th presidential inauguration. The sudden shift in authorities serves as the latest example of the security's response to last week's deadly siege on the Capitol. A mob of President Donald Trump supporters stormed the building and delayed the Congress's certification of Biden's electoral victory. Shortly after, the president concluded a rally roughly a mile away on a national mall. So yeah, it's that lethal force. That's gonna be utilized. It's gonna be utilized with no remorse, man. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Yeah, so these elites, time short. These guys are looking to get their system in, their kingdom in. They're looking to get that new world order system in. And that force is going to be utilized that with no delay, man. And that's what you're gonna see. And it's been the way this inauguration's been brought up is, first of all, that's a witchcraft ceremony, and as well as the way it's been built up is like there's a madness is gonna go down, because they even had they said there was an article out where it said National Guard troops, I'm assuming National Guard troops, said they've been what's the word? They've received briefings on IEDs, and like with the Capitol building, they said there was apparently there was IEDs there as well, but then that shit just vanished afterwards. So I don't even know. It's probably some bogus shit or whatever. But that's why it's it's gonna be an event, man. It's gonna be something to keep watch over, man. Them watchdogs of Israel. James 2:13. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. Yeah. So Esau is that one without mercy, man. That's why the way he's gonna be moving. He's not gonna. You go to the Georgia Guidestones, and it says what maintain humanity of under 500 million. That means there's a mass amount of death and destruction coming, man. And Esau's gonna be the source of it, man. So yeah, you place your trust in him. Get them vaccines, if you so believe, man. But look, man. As for me and my house, we're down with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushai Shalom.